Alright, back with the last chapter of Joshua, chapter 24. It talks about the covenant renewal at Shechem. It says this: Joshua gathered all the tribes of Israel to Shechem and summoned the elders and the heads, the judges, and officers of Israel, and they presented themselves before God. And Joshua said to all the people, "Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel," who is of course Jesus. "Long ago your fathers lived beyond the Euphrates, Terah the father of Abraham, and Nahor, and they served other gods." And I want to read this again. "Thus the Lord God of Israel," like I said, who's Jesus. "Long ago your fathers lived beyond the river, or beyond the Euphrates," which would have been actually over in Iraq. "Terah the father of Abraham, of Nahor, and they served other gods," or demons. "Now I took your father Abraham from beyond the river," the Euphrates, which would be over in Iraq today, "and led him through all the land of Canaan." So God brought Abraham from Iraq and brought him all the way over to Israel. It's a long journey on foot. It says it led him through all the land of Canaan and made his offspring many. "I gave him Isaac, and to Isaac I gave Jacob and Esau. And I gave Esau the hill country of Seir to possess, but Jacob and his children went down to Egypt. And I sent Moses and Aaron, and I plagued Egypt with what I did in the midst of it, and afterward I brought you out. Then I brought your fathers out of Egypt, and you came into the sea, and the Egyptians pursued your fathers with chariots and horsemen to the Red Sea. And when they cried to the Lord, he put darkness between you and the Egyptians, and made the sea come upon them and cover them. And your eyes saw what I did in Egypt, and you lived in the wilderness a long time. Then I brought you to the land of the Amorites," which is Jordan today, "who lived on the other side of the Jordan. They fought with you, and I gave them into your hand, and you took possession of their land and destroyed them before you. Then Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab," which is also Jordan, "arose and fought against Israel, and he sent and invited Balaam the son of Beor to curse you, but I would not listen to Balaam. Indeed, he blessed you. So I delivered you out of his hand, and you went over the Jordan and came to Jericho, and the leaders of Jericho fought against you, and also the Amorites, the Perizzites, Canaanites, Hittites, the Gershites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I gave them into your hand, and I sent a hornet before you, which drove them out before you, the two kings of the Amorites. It was not by your sword or by your bow. I gave you a land on which you had not labored, and cities that you had not built, and you dwelled in them. You eat the fruit of the vineyards and olive orchards that you did not plant. Choose who you will serve. Now therefore fear the Lord, and serve him in sincerity and in faithfulness. Put away the gods or demons that your fathers served beyond the river," which is the Euphrates River over in Iraq and in Egypt, "and serve the Lord," who's of course Christ, because Jesus is the true God. There is no other God but him. All of the gods in plural form are actually demons, so there's only one true God, who's Jesus Christ. There is no other God but him. Amen. And if it is evil in your eyes to serve the Lord, choose this day whom you will serve, whether the gods your fathers served in the region beyond the river, or the gods and the Amorites, in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." That's interesting if you think about this. Go back to 15. It says, and if it is evil in your eyes to serve the Lord, choose this day whom you will serve, whether the gods of your fathers served in the region beyond the river, which is the Euphrates River over in Iraq. And of course, Iraq now is Muslims. Think about that. Gods in plural form of demons. Muslims believe that Allah is really Satan, so it's kind of interesting there. It says, or the gods and the Amorites in whose land you dwell. So also the gods and the Amorites, which were demons. Jordan's also a Muslim nation. They serve Allah, who's really Satan. So there you go. You see how that connects? It's interesting. "But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." And the people answer, Far be it from us that we should forsake the Lord to serve other gods or demons. For it is Lord our God, who is Jesus, who brought us and our fathers up from the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery, and who did those great signs in our sight, and preserved us in all the way that we went, and among all the people through whom we passed. The Lord drove out before us all people of the Amorites who lived in the land, but therefore we also we also will serve the Lord, for He is our God. But see, it's kind of saying like here, if you think about it, it says, and the Lord drove out before us all people of the Amorites who lived in the land. Therefore we also will serve the Lord, for He is our God. To me, it sounds like the Jews right here are kind of recognizing Jesus, in a way, He is the one, He is God. But yet later on in the New Testament they kill Him, He defeats Him to His resurrection. So it's kind of, just interesting there when you think about it. But Joshua said to the people, "You are not able to serve the Lord, for He is a holy God. He is a jealous God. He will not forgive your transgressions or your sins if you forsake the Lord and serve foreign gods." That's interesting. Now, it's good. Let's go back to that real quick. If you forsake the Lord, it says 8 or 19. But Joshua said to the people, "You are not able to serve the Lord, for He is a holy God. He is a jealous God. He will not forgive your transgressions or your sins if you forsake the Lord and serve foreign gods." So what Joshua's saying here is, if you turn away from God and serve other gods, surely demons, sounds like here that God won't forgive you for that. That's wow, man. That's powerful, man. It says, then He will turn and do you harm and consume you after having done you good. And people said to Joshua, "No, but we will serve the Lord." And then Joshua said to the people, "You are witnesses against yourselves that you have chosen the Lord to serve Him." And they said, "We are witnesses." He said, "Then put away the foreign gods or demons," actually little idols pretty much, the demonic idols, "that are among you, and incline your heart to the Lord, the God of Israel." And the people said to Joshua, "The Lord our God we will serve, and His voice we will obey." So Joshua made a covenant with people that day and put in place statutes and rules for them at Shechem. And Joshua wrote these words in the book of the law of God. And he took a large stone and set it up there under the terebinth that was by the sanctuary of the Lord. And Joshua said to all the people, "Behold, this stone shall be a witness against us, for it has heard all the words of the Lord that He spoke to us. Therefore it shall be a witness against you, lest you deal falsely with your God." So Joshua sent people away, every man to his inheritance. Joshua's death and burial. After these things, Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died, being 110 years old. And they buried him in his own inheritance at Timnath-Sereth, which is in the hill country of Ephraim, north of the mountain of Gash. Israel served the Lord all the days of Joshua, and all the days of the elders who outlived Joshua, and had known all the work the Lord did for Israel. As for the bones of Joseph, which the people of Israel brought up from Egypt, they buried them at Shechem in a piece of land that Jacob bought from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 pieces of money. It became an inheritance of the descendants of Joseph. And Eleazar the son of Aaron died, and they buried him at Gilboa, the town of Phinehas his son, which had been given him in the hill country of Ephraim. That's it for chapter 24. The covenant renewal at Shechem, meaning that Israel pretty much renews their covenant with God. And Joshua says, "Choose who you will serve. Will you serve God, or will you continue in your sin and serve the world and be destroyed by it? But be destroyed by God." And also this was Joshua's death and burial. So that's 24. That's the end of Joshua. And so I'll be right back with with the book of Judges here in a minute.